What is going on, everybody? This is the First and Frame Rates channel. I am VF Baller. Every week we do a podcast called the First and Frame Rate Show. We talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And I want to do this quick, I guess you say mini episode to talk about the Georgia Southern App State game. Georgia Southern is hosting App State today, and they will be playing pretty much for 8 wins, possibly a spot in the Sun Belt title in another year of bragging rights when we play Appalachian State. There's a lot on the line here. I want to talk about that, and I want to give you some thoughts and opinions on this game and how I think it could go. So I appreciate you coming through here. Every week I do a podcast, and you can find that podcast on YouTube and Rumble, also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You also can link this podcast to any podcast app that of your choosing, so where you can listen to the show on the go, be your own program manager, and listen to anything that we talk about over here. Like I said, Georgia Southern or Atlanta Falcons football. So we're going to jump right back into Georgia Southern again, where I say there's a lot on the line coming up in this Appalachian State game, where Coach Clay Helton, there's been rumors, which I haven't really talked about at all this year about it, but there's been rumors of Coach Clay Helton possibly moving on to another school. And I don't really want to put too much into it, but if he does win, the next few games, like I said, if he wins the Appalachian State game, that could be another step in that right direction, possibly going to a Sun Belt championship and another bowl game. You're talking about a 10-win season. Does he stay around? Quite personally, my gut feeling, I think he does. I think he really likes being here at Georgia Southern. But at the end of the day, situations and money talks. So there's a lot on the line there. So that is like a positive slash, and negative side to that, because a lot of people have their reserves about Coach Clay Helton, but you don't necessarily, in my opinion, I don't think we should lose him. I think he's a solid coach, just haven't been able to get it done. But the fact that he has been, winning some games in November, this could be that ceiling that he probably breaks through and probably have a really good run here at Georgia Southern going forward. Now, on top of that, you're playing against Appalachian State. You always want to beat this team. And you always want to have a sense of pride and, bragging rights against your, main rival. This is a rivalry that's been going back for decades. And it's always a good time when we play when these two play each other. Last couple of years have been somewhat of a down year. The last time we played here in 2022, it was, like I said, it was a down year. Even though we did win that game by double overtime, it still felt like it was a down year, because one team usually kind of manhandles the other throughout the season, or when the teams play each other. It's not necessarily a lopsided victory, but it's pretty much a commanding victory when it's all said and done. I can't remember a time where a game actually did go into overtime between these two. But when you have a team like Appalachian State, which was on the rise for the past couple seasons, and we were still trying to find our way with our quarterback, it did not look good, especially last year, the last couple of years in Boone. But now we're back at Paulson Stadium, where we had the fantastic double overtime finish, and we should be able to have a way to win this game. I think we are the better team. We keep JC French upright, and we should be able to have a solid win at Paulson. Now, what makes you cause the pause when I say something like that? Well, when you look at the game against Troy, that looked like a game that we should have won, and we fell flat. We don't want to have another situation like that. Also, you look at the Chanticleers game when we played against Coastal Carolina, look like we could beat anybody. So now, like, what team shows up? I expect for us to show up just like we do any other time against the Appalachian State team, outside of the times we did play in Boone when we really didn't have the quarterback situation stable. It just was not a good, game for us. I mean, you look at the game when we lost, I think it was like 52 to the 20 something last time we was in Boone. And then you talk about the other time we was in Boone when we played again. It just was not I can't remember the score there, but it wasn't that good of a win. But when we do have a solid quarterback, like I said, when we had Shy Words or when we had Kyle Van Treese, we put on a show. And I think JC French could be that guy that can do so. The rest of the team, I'm not really worried about. I do believe that this team has the tools and can do everything they can to win, against Appalachian State with everyone else. But I think it just all starts with JC French at quarterback. If we call the right plays, and when I say the right plays, I mean just regular basic plays, we're able to move the ball and do some great things. So that should not be an issue when we're actually on the field. As long as we're not doing anything crazy, kind of like I said, with the Troy game. But I really don't want to go back to that. But those are the type of things we need to avoid. Now, outside of that, when you look at what else is on the line, going to a Sun Belt championship game, hoping that Marshall loses. I think South Alabama just lost against Texas State, so it all rides on that Marshall game. Can Marshall fall to JMU? That will be really really good for us if that's the case. We'll see how that plays out. They lose, we win, then we're in, and I think we'll be going to Louisiana to play because I think Louisiana, I think they'll be hosting the game. If that's the case, if they do win, I think we'll be playing them. Now, so there's a lot on the line there. Going back to a Sun Belt title game would be huge for this team. And this goes back to what I was saying. Does Coach Clay Helton hang around if he wants to continue that magic and try to get another trophy, another Sun Belt title here, going up against, the Sun Belt once again next year? And, a lot, like I said, the rumors that him leaving is out there. I've seen the articles and everything under that umbrella about that, but my gut feeling, I don't think he does. I really don't. I think he at least finished out the contract, and but who knows? You just never know. What else is on the line? Even if we don't win the Sun Belt, even if we don't make it to the Sun Belt title, we still have a bowl game to play, and once again, that will spark a lot of interest with the team because at the end of the day, we win this game, but if Marshall wins as well, we still have an 8-win season, and that 8-win season really does bode well for Georgia Southern. I mean, winning eight games was like, to me, the floor for Georgia Southern once Coach Clay Helton got here. So now we're looking at a situation where what happens next? Can we go to 10 wins next year? Can we, actually get that 8th win tonight and then go and, get a 9-win season if we do win our bowl game? It's a lot hanging in the balance, not just for the coach of Georgia Southern, but the fans and the players. I mean, this is the type of stuff that would make players want to commit to the team, want interest in the team, what the team is about, all those things under the umbrella. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here, and I'm really curious to see how things play out. I will definitely be watching the game tonight, seeing how this plays out. I do hope Georgia Southern wins. There's some things out here you can't control. Like I said, the whole situation with Marshall, don't know how that's going to play out. We hope they lose, but once you play them, you still have to go up to Louisiana and play a very tough Louisiana team. So we just got to continue to play the top tier football that we know we can play. And we've seen it over the years, even when we were 6 and 7, you've seen flashes of where Georgia Southern pretty much looks unbeatable. And this is one of the times where we could use that right now. Will we get that? I don't know. Only thing I can say is we can take it one game at a time and find a way to beat Appalachian State and go from there. So let me know what you guys think. Once again, this podcast that I do every week, it can be found on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and Apple. Also, you can put it on any of the podcast apps that you want to use. Be your own program manager. And I'm going to sit here and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. You hear my son in the background. You probably hear him. He is extremely excited about this video game called Cuphead. I mean, he is in love with it. We've been playing it all week, and quite frankly, I'm kind of tired of it. But playing games with him is always fun at the end of the day. But other than that, that's a whole nother story. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be back to talk about this Appalachian State game where we hopefully will have a W. So I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.